welcome to It's Clarkson On TV, which is a TV show where I review things that I've seen on television. Now, I should warn you at the outset that from time to time things do get a bit smutty and lavatorial. There's no way around it. Even on the Festival of Tears, when Meghan Markle was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey, there was a moment where Meghan seemed, how can I put this politely, to break wind.
What was that, 6, 7 months after our wedding?
Sorry, can we just hear that again? Because it really does sound like Piers Morgan had a point. Her pants really were on fire.
Shocking was, what was that, 6, 7 months after our wedding?
Now, I've had a note here from the legal department at ITV. They want it to be made plain that that was not a fart. I have no idea how they know that, but they want me to make it clear that the fart noise probably came out of Oprah's mouth. Right, so I've done that, so we can move on to Bridgerton, which opened with a horse and cart pulling up outside an agreeable house. All TV period dramas do this. It's a sort of coded warning to men that they will not enjoy any of what follows. It's a sign that no one is going to point at a radar screen and say, "Sir, you're going to want to see this. Got hostiles inbound. Secure the perimeter." When a horse and carriage pulls up, you know none of that is going to happen. But this Regency drama was different. Not just because they left the yellow lines in. No. If you thought there were some strange noises in the Meghan interview, you should hear some of the sounds the actors made in Bridgerton once they'd found somewhere to park the horse. I mean, just watch this bit, OK? With your eyes shut. Was that the mixed doubles at Wimbledon? No, it's a man trying to pass a kidney stone. Anyway, while you were watching that period sex, I was captivated by this.
They're everywhere. In our shopping centres, our transport stations, all across the globe.
Now, you might think they were using that Jason Bourne music to make an extremely dull topic seem dramatic. But no. This turned out to be the most exciting programme I've ever seen.
Footage has emerged of escalators spiralling out of control. And meet the people who know what it's like to be eaten by an escalator.
This can happen to anybody, anywhere in the world.
A subtle message there from the Anti-Obesity Society. Use the stairs. Now, another show I love is Countryfile. It's their complete lack of ambition that's so endearing. I mean, the other week, after the rather wonderful Adam Henson had casually hit a lamb with a stick, Matt Baker took his super neat side parting into the garden to show us how to build a pond.
Oh, you little... No, lost him.
And there you have your own little watery haven. The wildlife will turn up before you know it.
What wildlife? It's a plastic washing up bowl with some gravel in it. Thing is, though, I suspect they were planning a rather elaborate lake with fountains and water lilies, but yet again, the Countryfile team blew the show's entire budget on gack and hookers. They're famous throughout the BBC for doing it. So I've just had another note from the legal team at ITV. Oh, apparently that's fine. No. There's a note here from the BBC. Don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. So, Let's stick with Countryfile then, shall we? Because has anyone noticed that Matt Baker doesn't know what the word excited means? Because I think he uses it when he means boring.
Colin, this is the chosen site, then?
This is the site.
It's very exciting, actually, isn't it, to wander across it now knowing what it will become.
So what we don't want to do is rip off a load of branches when they come down.
I'm going to guide it down.
You're going to guide it down.
See what happens.
Let's go for it.
Good luck.
Cheers.
I'm excited.
How much will you get involved and how much will you kind of leave them be?
The idea is that most of the management will be on a visual basis. Our intervention fund will be minimal, and let's see what nature does.
Exciting, isn't it?
And would there have been, like, a house and what have you in here,
There would
then?
have been houses, probably grain storage inside this enclosure.
When you know what was here, you can sort of feel something, can't you? It's just so... It's so exciting.
He also has a habit of describing things that aren't fantastic as fantastic.
Oh, yes, we'll have a bit of that. Fantastic.
Going on, you two. This looks fantastic fun.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Fantastic!
What Matt says most of all, though, is the Low Church granny-friendly expression, oh, my word. Although I think what he means to say is, just shoot me.
This is the first batch of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
And now you're entering into the Roman farmstead.
Oh, my word.
He's an Alaskan hound.
Right.
And he's 6 years old.
Is he really?
And there's a mixture of husky, greyhound and pointer in there.
Oh, my word. Oh, my word.
You get these,
I've just seen it.
these larvae.
That is absolutely huge.
So am I in the fort yet?
You are in the inner embankment.
Am I?
You're on the inner embankment of the fort.
Oh, my word.
And you can take a seat in my Grumpy Rupert's Windsor chair.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Just shoot me. Anyway, now that we can speak Matt Baker, let's have a look at him in his last ever appearance on The One Show. I'm excited.
But we have commissioned The One Show's resident artist, who you love, I know you love him, Adebanji, to paint a lovely picture. Now, here it is. It's you and I on the sofa.
Let me have a look. Oh, my word. Look at that!
He really is so wholesome, isn't he? And that's the problem. I don't like the mirror he holds up to me. And what is The One Show doing with a resident artist? It's not a Crown Court. The last person I can remember who had a resident artist was Louis XIV. Anyway, let's move away from the comfort zone of Matt Baker to the seething cauldron of hatred that now exists on breakfast television between the hosts and the weather people.
Chilly outside, and it's going to get colder, and there's going to be snow as well. Why are you here, Carol?
Because some of that was right, Naga.
Tell us. Oh, with a beautiful picture. That is gorgeous,
that's
Carol.
stunning.
Is that a sign of things to
Isn't it?
come?
Carol, if you just move out the way, it'd improve the picture a hell of a lot.
Well, you should too, Naga. Sorry,
Get it right, Carol. Come on.
What do you think about the Nana thing?
I'm not talking to her anymore.
At first, I thought this was just banter. But in this clip, the body language is pure Piers and Alex.
Of course, Carol can come. Carol's got the weather for us this morning. Morning, Carol.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning,
I'll just
everybody.
go, shall I?
Then, after a gentle jibe from the jolly weather woman, this happened.
Do you know what? I would never forget Charlie's name. Naga. Charlie, never.
Carol, you're on form this morning, can I just say, with lovely weather. Very nice. Very nice.
I'm out of it. What's the point? What is the point?
Of course, walking off is all the rage at the moment. There's now even a lockdown version of it.
You know what, actually, I don't even want to do this interview because I don't even want to look at what it says at the bottom of that screen. So I'm just going to switch off, do a real Piers Morgan.
Huge apologies. It wasn't our intention to upset you.
Now, I absolutely sympathise with whoever that was, because imagine being labelled a wellness guru. Mind you, when it comes to captions at the bottom of the screen, it could be worse. There was a woman called Margaret Bates, for example. She's a visiting professor of sustainable waste management at the University of Northampton. But this is what they called her on Panorama. A fly-tipping expert. Perhaps that's what she does at weekends, lobs old fridges over hedges. My favourite, though, is a chap called Adam Linsell, who is an athlete and a committed charity worker. And here's how he was billed by the BBC. Penis runner. How long, I wonder, will it be before we see this? Hat expert. Oh, now, The Gadget Show. The only magazine programme on British television that's presented in what appears to be a foreign language.
It's got a quad-core processor, 1 gig of RAM, 7-inch LCD screen, so it's not HD, 16 gig of storage, which is expandable to 32.
What operating system does it run?
Android 8.1 Go Edition. And because the tech spec is so low, it runs pared-back versions of the Play Store apps.
Now, the funny thing is, when you turn the subtitles on, it transpires those are the actual words they're using. But I find myself drawn to this tech fest every week for two reasons. One, it's hosted in part by a chap called John Bentley, who gave me my first job in television. And two, because of the prizes they give away in their competition. Cuddly toy, barbecue set. No, we are way beyond that here. So, make yourselves comfortable, because this, for real, is what one person can win.
Right, let's jump straight in with this lot of kit from Apple. A brand new 13-inch MacBook Pro with M1 processor, a 12.9-inch iPad Pro with Apple Pencil and Magic Keyboard, an iMac 5K, an iPhone 12 Pro Max with Apple Watch Series 6 and Apple TV Plus free for a year. And how about an iPad Air as well? Because, you know, we're nice like that.
And that lot is just the tip of the tech iceberg. Fancy some top audio gear too? A UE Hyperboom Bluetooth speaker, a pair of Bose noise-cancelling earbuds and over-ear headphones, Spotify Premium for a year, plus 3 Amazon Echo Dots so you can listen all over your home, and a Sony Bluetooth turntable.
Keep in touch on the go with the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and OnePlus 8T, and stay in style on the go with a Pure Air Pro electric scooter.
Get your vlog on with a Sony ZV-1 camera, GoPro Hero 9 and a DJI Mavic Air 2 drone.
Then get your game on with a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, both with 5 games, a Nintendo Switch with Mario Kart Live, and for a bit of VR gaming, an Oculus Quest 2 headset.
It's not just next-gen gaming we've got you covered for. How about this tech to trick up your pad? An Amazon Echo Show 10, Ring video doorbell and 5-piece Ring alarm kit, plus a Nest thermostat and Blink 5 camera home security bundle.
That's some great smart home tech, but it gets even better with a Dyson Supersonic hairdryer and cordless hair straighteners and V8 vacuum, a Panasonic automated bread maker, Amazon Kindle Oasis e-reader and Oaklean AI-powered toothbrush, plus an iRobot robotic vac and mop.
Hit the open roads with a pair of techie bikes, a giant advanced road bike, EOVolt folding electric city bike, plus a smart bike helmet with integrated lights and a Fitbit Sense health tracking smartwatch.
Then kick back on the sofa and go for your brand new home cinema setup, including a 75-inch LG 4K TV with a Sonos Dolby Atmos soundbar, subwoofer and a pair of rear wireless speakers, plus a 43-inch TV for the bedroom and an Anker portable projector.
And if that lot somehow wasn't quite enough, we're keeping you future-proof with a 55-inch LG 8K TV too.
It's a gargantuan gadget haul worth over £30,000 and you'd be simply mad to miss it.
It is. You know that stuck ship in the Suez Canal? That's what it was carrying. Which means it isn't here yet. So, while you try to access the Gadget Show on My 5 to see if you can still win all that clobber, we're going to take a short break. See you in a minute. Welcome back. And apropos of nothing at all, one of the bands that competed to represent Sweden at this year's Eurovision Song Contest claim that they were singing in Swedish. But when it gets to the chorus, I'm not sure they were. number 2 slot, but... Oh, no, wait. Moving on. Oh, actually, while we're on the subject of mishearing, the current series of the critically acclaimed Line of Duty was, for me, spoiled somewhat by everyone talking non-stop about what sounded like jizz.
Set up an urgent meet with the jizz's handler. For a start, you could help us locate your jizz.
Handler's lost contact. He reckons the chiz has bottled it.
We can keep it on the DL only if we've got a chiz inside MIT.
I don't know if it's a commercial thing with the jizz. Handler. And fuck the jizz.
Now, apparently, they were actually saying chiz, which means grass, or snitch. I've gone to the trouble of having it translated here. And it stands for Covert Human Intelligence Source. Basically, then, human source. So, as we were. Now, grand designs, a big favourite of mine. And there was a particularly noteworthy episode recently in which a self-confessed eco-warrior decided to build a state-of-the-art underground house that would be insulated and heated by the soil itself. Now, this caused the always excellent Kevin MacLeod to become a little bit bemused.
Essentially, it's a earth-sheltered house, but with a difference. It's a self-heating house. What we're doing is gathering the sunlight in through the big glazing, transferring that heat with an underfloor transfer mechanism into the earth banks. And these earth banks will store the heat from summertime.
Now, it turned out that the original design for this underground house wasn't going to be strong enough, so they had to come up with an expensive and complicated solution involving cast concrete. But eventually, the important eco-work could begin.
What we've got under here is earth, then we've got polythene, and then finally, the critical part of it, which is the polystyrene.
At least the house has started to disappear. Kind of.
The only telltale sign, of course, is the ubiquitous, the ever-present sign that there is somewhere buried under this a house, and that is yards and yards of blue plastic.
Eventually, of course, the house was finished, and here it is. It's a symphony of wood and glass and polystyrene, shrouding an interior filled with space-age technology, Italian ceramics, and even a home cinema. Then, as is the way with grand designs, Kevin went back to talk to the polystyrene enthusiast who built it. And given that it's this chap's business to sell underground eco-heating technology to hipsters, I wondered if he was going to be honest about how far over budget he'd gone.
Can you remember how much you started out wanting to spend on this?
With contingency 300k, which got blown almost straight away with having to go for the cast concrete approach. Since that point, we've just been very careful, just making really good purchasing decisions. So I think it's going to come in at about 310.
Right. He built that house for £310,000. That is amazing. But, of course, the big question is, does the soil roof heating technology actually work? Well, here are the couple, both wearing jumpers. And what about Kevin? Yeah, he hasn't taken his coat off. So let's be fair and say the jury's out. Buying gloves. Now, the reason why Kevin devoted a whole show to environmentalism is that it's compulsory these days. Every show has to talk about it. I'm talking about it now. Everyone is.
Across deserts, glaciers, even rainforests, in a bid to raise awareness of climate change.
And by absorbing carbon, they are our greatest ally in combating climate change.
Now, I'd have thought we'd have seen more artworks on this theme, of course. Global warming.
The animals are now refugees, thanks to global warming.
I'm worried, sir. I'm worried about the weather and the seasons and all the plastic everywhere.
Well, don't look at me. Blame global warming.
It's weird. There are lots of things that are important. So why has television singled out climate change as the one thing we must all talk about all the time? It's like airlines have singled out smoking as the one thing you can't do on a plane. There are big signs and announcements. And you think, yeah, but masturbating's not allowed either, or murdering. We already know that climate change is the biggest threat to humanity, after escalators, obviously, so why do we keep going on about it? Even when Doctor Who was being attacked by some giant space phlegm, she and her mates still found time to deliver a short lecture on the subject.
Somehow. Made in China? Hey, how did this get here?
It never left. Orphan 55, it's Earth, your future.
How did Earth end up like this?
Good warnings from every scientist alive. Global warming. Huh? The food chain collapses, mass migration and war.
Oh, shut up. Even singing competitions are now in on the act.
Please change the story. Rewrite the past. This beautiful earth cannot be lost. Stop hurting our planet like you don't care. There's only one world for us to share.
I was watching that thinking, God, it's awful. It really was. But it did bring home to me just how much plastic there is in the judges' faces. The worst thing, though, were the lyrics. I've got them here. I went online and downloaded them. Ready? All the grown-ups take note of this. Wake up and see that you must make a change. I'm sorry, but since when did kids start lecturing adults on how to behave? I mean, take Thunberg yelling at Donald Trump. If I'd shouted at the President of America, my dad would have been furious with me. And those kids just then, they had the audacity, OK, the audacity to sing Don't Listen to the Fat Cat in front of Simon Cowell. They were lucky not to get a clip round the ear. And it does make me wonder, if you reformed the St Winifred's school choir today, what would the lyrics be? Grandma, we love you? I seriously doubt that.
Grandma, Grandma, we hate you, burning all the fossil fuel. Now the birds and bees are gone, 'cause you put your heating on. Clarkson, selfish runt, non-recycled plastic.
Whoa, strong! Too strong! Well, off the air, strong! Stop singing and we're going to take a short break. Back after this. Right, in part two, we covered green issues, which means we must move on to the other thing that must now be in every single show on television. Lesbians.
You've got this.
Are you going to watch?
I don't mean to impose. If you wish to continue, I can just sit quietly and wait.
Now, obviously, there are certain shows and movies where you would struggle to insert a lesbian scene. Apollo 13, for example. Country File. And certainly, when I sat down to watch the new remake of Das Boot, which is set on board a German U-boat in World War II, I thought there's no way the writers will be able to shoehorn any lesbionics into this. Ooh, how wrong I was. It's like Anna Friel has unlocked Pandora's box, and I'm sure you're thinking, where's the male equivalent? I mean, take the world of Formula One. There are hundreds of guys involved, so statistically, quite a few of them are going to be gay. But if you look at Netflix's new series, Drive to Survive, which is very good, by the way, there's no evidence of it at all.
Oh, yeah. Munasin. On tää rauhallista. Samanlainen, että sauna kun heittää. Semmosta se on. Semmosta se on.
Why does your hair always look so good? You dye it.
Just don't wash it, mate.
It looks darker. Wait, no shit, actually. I'm not just saying that.
You're hot all the time, right?
No,
as soon as I get close to you, you get hot.
No, not really.
I haven't seen anything quite so overtly heterosexual since the volleyball game in Top Gun. Now, have you noticed how University Challenge seems to attract contestants with stupid names?
Warwick Braid, King's Tricks, Warson Swing, Edinburgh Fricker, Edinburgh Jeffcoat, Lady Margaret Hall Lobo, Lady Margaret Hall Le Croisette, Open Lamb, Imperial Ramen, Bristol Pie, Bristol Salmon, St John's Leeks.
Which country?
St John's Sword.
Regarded as
Jesus Cashman.
mandate. Mandate is correct.
Brilliant. And that is my favourite there, Jesus Cashman. Now, the thing is, we all know students like a prank. So how's this for a plan? You've got Randall and Lamb, yes, OK? And you need 2 more contestants. And you're going to be tempted to go for people who know about medieval history or physics. Wrong. Choose them for their names, sit them in the correct order, and hey presto, you get this. Whoa, Black Betty Randall Lamb. Brilliant. I mean, whoa, thick as pig shit, but it doesn't matter because she gave you a laugh. It's like when you play Scrabble. Yes, you could get underpass on 2 treble word scores, and that'd get you 179 points. But that's not playing properly. The right thing to do is to settle for 4 points because the word you put down is arse. Anyway, I now think it's a good time to look at some morons making fools of themselves on other quiz shows.
The M25 is an orbital motorway that circles which English city?
England?
It's London.
What unit of power is abbreviated to HP? House of Parliament. Horsepower.
I need 5 capital cities outside of the UK that are further north than London. The time starts now.
Manchester.
No, wait, outside of the UK.
Between 1991 and 1999, Peter Schmeichel was a goalkeeper for which English football club? Bev.
Germany.
For which English football club?
The didgeridoo is a traditional music instrument from what country?
Denmark.
Australia.
Papillon is the French word for which flying insect?
Dog.
Butterfly.
So let's just get this straight. One of those contestants has gone through life thinking that a dog is a flying insect. So she must know she's not that bright. And yet, she still woke up one morning and thought, yeah, I think I'll go on a quiz show. Amazingly, though, she is not the most stupid person I've ever seen on television.
And I think one day, like, my house will be like a museum for people. When I die, Dolly Parton's got Dollywood. You can pay to go and walk around Elvis's house. I think that is going to happen in my lifetime.
Gemma Collins there, thinking that her house will be a museum before she dies. She clearly doesn't know what lifetime means. And then there's Louise Redknapp, who it seems is unsure about what's meant by the word autobiography.
I think people are describing it as an autobiography, but it's actually more, if I can explain it. I've really just talked about certain stages in my life, right from, you know, when I was younger, right till now.
Yeah.
And then the second part of the chapter is just kind of what I learned along the way.
Yeah, Louise, that is an autobiography. And just when you thought that was the best TV could do to make your brain collapse in on itself like an imploding star, along came a new show called Darling, What Have You Done to Your Hair?
Would you risk your hair for £500?
You look like you've been electrocuted.
2 friends. One picks a crazy haircut.
I think she'd hate it.
The other answers questions for cash, but one wrong answer could cost them big. Will they win their dream haircut and keep the cash? You're right!
It's majestic.
Or lose it all and get the crazy cut? This is, darling, what have you done to your hair?
Now, the reason why inane drivel like that gets on television is that TV producers believe they need to dumb down because the viewer can't handle complexity. However, a few hours after 40,000 people watch that idiot give someone a haircut, 14 million people tuned in to watch this.
The rates are still very high at over 11,000 cases on a 7-day average. So over 55% protection just from getting led to a 72% reduction in the number of people who developed to those. 86% are people who are in groups 1 to 4. These are people at 21 days after just one dose of the vaccine. The great majority of whom have now been vaccinated make up 58% of those people, but, and this increased further to 86% if they had a second dose.
And we all understood every single word. Honestly, this is why I love television. It's got people who think dogs can fly and lesbians and Matt Baker saying, oh, my word, and documentaries about aircraft carriers and debates on Persian art and Chris Whitty. And sometimes you find a nugget of pure genius like this from the BBC's Ola Gurin on the crisis in Yemen.
Frontline or not, classes continue here. Down below, it's mathematics. Over here, it's Arabic language. Teachers tell us the war has already taught these children to be resilient. They say the pupils rarely miss a day. Now, more than ever, they're hungry for education.
Ola's reports from Yemen have been extraordinary. The story she told about kids being shot by snipers was harrowing beyond belief. It was epic journalism. And it was delivered to you by exactly the same machine that also brought you this.
Lucas, my vagina is on fire. No, I feel like I'm getting an infection.
What, like a urinary infection?
It stinks, doesn't it? It's like yeast.
Oh, my word. Good night.